Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, and today we're going to be talking about my March TBR. Woo! Hopefully this video setup works. I'm still fiddling around, figuring out what works, and I'm new to all this different angle. I found a solution that gets this better area a little bit better. Hopefully I can edit out the fridge noises, because the fridge is right there, but you know what? At least the lighting is probably a bit better here than it was over in the old location. And I have some tea. Yum yum yum. So for my March TBR, I'll be mostly picking up books that I want to read to fulfill some of my 2020 goals. I do not have my 2020 goals video up yet, as of this recording anyway. That should be up Friday. But basically, one of the goals is to finish up some series that I have started but have not finished, because I have like 50 some series that I haven't finished yet. So I need to finish some series, and that's what I'm going to do in March, or at least make some progress with that in March. First up, I have The Riddle by Alison Croghan. This is the second book in the Pelennor series. I started the series, or at least I started my reread of the series in January. I really liked the first book, and so I definitely want to finish this series. It is 4 books long. It's a YA, adventure-y type fantasy series. It's a little bit on the older side, but not incredibly so. Yeah, like the early 2000s, so it's not incredibly old. As a kid, I really liked this series, but I didn't read the whole series. I didn't read the last book in the series, so I need to finish it. And I don't really know what happens in this second book here, but it started off in the naming with the main character discovering that she has magic abilities, and she has a big important task to fill to get rid of the darkness. And I mean, it's not very original, I suppose, but it is a comfortable type read, an easygoing read, and hopefully that kind of continues in the second book. The next book on my TBR is Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. It is the third book in the Murderbot series. This is a sci-fi with the main character being this cyborg type character who's really dangerous, and he's not supposed to have free will or anything like that, but he accidentally gets free will and just wants people to leave him alone and watch his media, but shenanigans. I read the first 2 novellas sometime last year and I really loved them, so I definitely want to read more. I haven't heard anything bad really about any of the Murderbot books, so I'm really excited to read them. And also a full-length novel in this series is coming out, I believe, in May. So it would be nice to read this one in March and then the 4th one in April, so then I can just read the new book in May when it comes out. Next one on my list is Kizumonogatari by Nisio-Isin. This is a very weird series, like a urban fantasy type series with not a lot of action, and it's more talking and trying to solve people's traumas to get rid of their demons or aberrations or whatever's haunting them, kind of thing. And it's a very wordy, witty type series. At least so far, I've read the first 3 volumes. This one is the 4th volume in the series, and there's like 20 volumes or something. I'm really far behind. This one, I hear it's a bit more action-packed than some of the other books in the series, but I don't really know much about it because, yeah, I don't really like to look too much into depth on when I'm in the middle of the series. I don't really like to read too much in the synopsis, just in case it gives away too much. And this isn't really a terribly long book, because it's a shorter this way book, and it's like 300 pages, so I don't know too much what happens in here. But other than it is a prequel to the first 3 novels. For one of my big chunkers in March, I plan to read The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. This is the second book in the Wheel of Time series, and there's like 14 books or something, so I need to catch up. I'm behind. I want to read more. As you can see, I'm barely started as of this recording. Yeah, this is just like a big, epic fantasy. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the Wheel of Time. Big scope, lots of characters, lots of POVs. And it's, I don't know if it's considered a classic, but it is considered to be one of the best, if not the best, sort of fantasies out there. I read the first book about a year ago, so it's been a long time. I really need to get back into this series. It is a hunky book. So hopefully I can finish this in March, because it would be really great if I could finish the Wheel of Time series this year, or at least get a significant part of the way through. So those are all books that are part of my goals to finish series that have started, which again is going to come up in a video that is not out yet as of this recording, or when this is published. It will hopefully be up Friday. But I do have a few other books that are not part of that. The first of these books is Hatchet by Gary Paulson. This is not part of my series to finish in 2020 list, but it is part of my series that I have started and haven't finished yet, kind of Excel sheet. It is one that I read in school and I really liked, so I just kind of wanted to try it out, and if I still liked it, then I know to keep it on the list, and if I don't like it, then it'll just clear off a slot off of my list. So that's just why I wanted to read it. It's not a crazy long book. I don't know how many pages it is, but it is a pretty simple book, so it shouldn't be that much of a big deal anyway. So that's why I thought I'd leave it on this for March, even though I already have a lot of books already. Oh, another book I forgot, because I don't have it physically, that is part of my series to finish, or at least get a headway into list, and that is Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett. This is the third book in the Discworld series, although you don't need to read the Discworld books in too much order, but I am reading them in publication order, and this one is the third one. I think it's the first book in the Weird Sisters or something like that sub-series. I don't really know much about it. I've heard good things, I think, about this one. I'm not sure. If I really breeze through it, I might also try picking up and reading Mort, and I know I've heard good things about that one. I was only okay with the first two Discworld books, The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic, but those two are generally considered to be the worst books in the Discworld series, and I did like the essence of them, I feel like, but they weren't really super put well together, it just felt like. So I do have high hopes of liking Equal Rights and maybe Mort if I get to Mort, but I don't think I'll get to Mort in March. For my last two books that I want to read in March, I recently joined Merphy Napiers. I can't pronounce her name. I'm sorry, Merphy. But I recently joined her Patreon, and she hosts a book club for her Patreons. They read 2 books each month, and so I decided I wanted to participate in March. One of the 2 books I'm not sure if I'm going to read or not, and the other one I am pretty confident that I want to read and I'm excited for. So the book that I'm not sure about if I'm going to read or not is The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This is one that a lot of people read in school. I also had to read this in school, and this was by far my least favorite read, I think, in school. Maybe Great Gatsby was worse, I'm not really sure, but I really disliked it. I don't really remember too much exactly what happens. I think it's a bunch of kids get stranded on a deserted island and they have to survive, and I think it's supposed to say how messed up humanity is, and I am a different reader than I am back when I first read it though, so it would be nice to give it a shot, but it's not a high priority for me because I want to finish my series more than I want to read Lord of the Flies. So I might not. We'll see how that one goes. The other book that everyone's reading for her book club, though, is one that I am more much more excited for. That is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I can't do names. I'm sorry. This is the first book in the Lycanius trilogy, and I don't really know much about it other than it's an adult fantasy. Yeah, it's an adult fantasy. Look how chunky. Ooh, chunky book. My husband recently finished the series and has told me how much he really loves it, so I am also really excited for it. He has told me some things about it. I think some of them are a little bit minor spoilery, so I won't tell you about that, but it made me a little bit more interested in reading this than I was before. Yeah, other than the minor spoiler thing, I have not really any concept of what goes on in this. Honestly, I don't feel like reading the synopsis to find that out. I'd rather go in a little blinder for this one. But hopefully I like it. I will be starting a new series for this, but that's fine. As long as I knock off more series than I start this year, then I'm good. So these are all the books that I plan to read in March, at least the physical ones. I don't know if I'll be able to read all of these books. It doesn't look too much right now because only 4 of them are physical, but I feel like 8 is a lot, or 7. I don't know. I feel like this is a lot. We'll see how many of these I can read. I would love to read all of these because they all sound fun and exciting. Let me know in the comments if you read any of these yourself and if any of these you are more excited for me to read. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye!